And so one of the biggest things I think a corporate leader listening right now, and I'm just curious, if you're listening right now, if I were to come up to you, by the way, and if you ever meet me in a networking environment, I will ask you this question because it happened to me and I got caught off guard and I was so embarrassed because I couldn't answer this question.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I was Cliff Notes on the story. I was getting a tour of a golf course and this caddy is like, our golf manager is like making small talk with me and he turns around and my husband's like looking at something and he turns around and he says, so small talk, right? He looks at me and he goes, what do you do? As people do. And I said, well, I'm a keynote speaker. I'm an author. And then he goes, naturally, when you say this to people, they go, so cool. What do you speak about? I said, well, I talk about fear. And this is back when, when I was really running with my first book and all that stuff. And I still talk about courage, of course. And he goes, oh my God, that's amazing. Second City Improv. And he goes, you got to tell me. And this like 24 years old. And he looks at me and he goes, and I was like, so impressed. Now I'm so impressed. But he looks at me and he goes, oh my God, that's so cool. Keynote speaker, author, Second City. You got to tell me what inspires your work. And I'm an artist. And I literally was like not ready. I was shook. I was like, like flumbled all over, probably pulled some stuff together, some books I was reading. And you know how when you're talking to someone and you can see their eyes kind of glaze over and like you can see that you're losing them? I was losing Chris. Like Chris was gone. I couldn't get out of that golf cart fast enough. I was so embarrassed. I felt so cringe. And I vowed to myself to never again allow that to happen to myself. So I go to that night, I open my iPhone and I go to my notes app and I start a list, and it's still ongoing to this day. I could even read to you what's on my list because sometimes I take things off, sometimes I add to it. Sometimes things are always on my list, like Gilda Radner and Second City and disco balls and how a cactus blooms in the desert. That is so inspiring to me. So I started a list that was like things, people, places, and things that inspire me, so that I'm actively in the hunt and keeping score in my life. One of my favorite graffiti artists, Futura, said his dad always used to ask him, "Are you keeping score? Are you keeping score?" And he realized his dad wasn't talking about the game in New York and the games that are going on in New York. He was talking about, are you keeping score in your life? Like, what are you looking at? And where are you pulling energy from? And so I have always kept that list. It to this day exists. And I am always looking for things to be inspired by. So that is a question from the stage I pose to the audience. And it's now one of my favorite networking questions. Instead of what do you do? And how's the weather? And where's vacation? And all this boring stuff. Let's get into it. Yeah. What inspires you? Because now, Seth, I know your soul. I know who you are. I don't get the corporate mask. I get you. What are you reading? What are you listening to? I mean, the fact that you're from I just look at the shelves on your wall. I can get a picture of what inspires you, right? And this helps me tap into the essence of you. And is that anywhere in your life? Is this awake? Are the colors of Argentina? Is the flavor of Argentina? Do you fuse that into your website, into your business, into your conversations? Do you have your favorite story about your most exciting? You see what I'm saying here? This is accessible to all of us. And if you want to create interesting things on stage as a writer, as a keynoter, and certainly inside of corporations, we got to be awake. So go be inspired by your life. And I think that right there is a simple thing everybody can do today to start thinking about, am I a robot? Am I going through the motions? Have I slowed down to look at the trees? Have I taken a walk without my phone recently? Have I gone to an art museum? Because the art museum is a void without the people in it. The people, the humans, the souls bring it to life. So we want people inside of our organizations who are inspired by their life, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring Argentina to the boardroom. Yeah. They're going to bring Second City to the meet.
This connects with me because and just to clarify, when I say an MFA, again, it's not that you're going to go and learn how to do watercolors like George O'Keeffe. Right. It's that if you can relate to yourself on the simplest level as an artist, as a creative, as somebody who can get something from nothing. For me, taking photographs that turn me on, writing a beautifully crafted sentence, whether it's to somebody in my family, my wife or my daughters, or to a client or something for work. It's the crafting of an adventure with my family, a simple, beautiful bike ride through. We live on a river and near a marsh, and these are the kind of things that if you're in that mindset of being open to be inspired, then the inspiration is limitless and everywhere. And, I think your approach and your framework and, your energy, you've gone from improviser to influencer. You're incredibly energetic and edgy, but you're also trusted by, the Four Seasons, all these great brands, Marriott, Ford, T-Mobile, that
Yeah.
you've brought your message to. And I know our audience, our subscribers, come to this podcast for that message and that energy and that insight.